And it is the Demons from Outer Space, episode 112. Hello, everyone. It's been a hot minute. I'm Bill Worcester, a.k.a. Zazubaar. Dylan McCandless, Super DM64, joining me as always.
Hi, everybody.
We are finally back with you to do a long overdue science-based episode of the Demons from Outer Space. Dylan, there have been several bizarre advancements in the field of science that we have not discussed on this podcast because we've been reviewing shit, apes, dickhead versions of Marvel superheroes, other stuff. And we just haven't gotten around to discussing some of this stuff, but there's been some doozies. You mind if I start off with one of the bigger doozies?
Yes, please do.
Okay, so this is from the Washington Post. This is the first thing I have in my recent queue of science articles. So, quote, "Rare is winning the lottery. New dinosaur fossil so well preserved, it looks like a statue." So I heard about this a while ago. What's the date on this? May 12th. So this is like a month ago. A little over. And, the idea is that this is a fossil that's been so incredibly well preserved of what the thing actually looked like that it looks kind of like a statue. Like, I'm looking at a picture of it right now. Do you want me to send you the article?
Yeah, I haven't seen this in a while.
I'm going to send it to you through Facebook Messenger. Just look up some of the buzzwords I've been throwing at you in this podcast. If you're listening, you'll find it. There you are, Dylan. At Dylan.McCandless. Alright, it's been sent. You should get it. But it's an interesting looking thing. It looks kind of like the dragons from Reign of Fire, which is not a bad thing in my eyes. I like that movie a lot. Dylan, have you seen Reign of Fire?
No, we've had this conversation before.
Well, because it makes me so upset that you haven't seen Reign of Fire that I constantly block it from my memory and then we have to have it again. Why haven't you seen Reign of Fire?
I think I've seen a very small piece of Reign of Fire, but I've never seen the movie itself.
Do you not understand that it is Christian Bale and Matthew McConaughey's and Gerard Butler's best movie?
Well, okay.
So, I mean, come on. What are you doing with your life? Alright, so back to dinosaurs. So this thing looks pretty fucking cool. But why don't we get into some of the gritty details? I don't know how... Oh, fuck, I just lost the article. Alright, I'm back. So, let's see how long this thing is, and we can kind of go into it. So, it's not like a T-Rex or anything that you would want. It's an Ankylosaurus type thing. Not specifically an Ankylosaurus, but something in that family. Let's see if it says what in particular.
Which, unfortunately, even in perfectly preserved fossil form, kind of just looks like a big turd. But you can tell what it's supposed to be. It's very...
I mean, if you tell me it's supposed to be an Ankylosaurus-looking thing, I go, oh, okay, sure. But, I mean, when I first looked at it, again, my thought process was Reign of Fire. Christian Bale, Matthew McConaughey, Gerard Butler. That was my thought process. So I think that ultimately the designers of this fossil fucked up. The designers being Mother Nature. And coincidence. What else should we discuss? Oh, so the dinosaur is a nodosaur. Are you looking at the picture of what the CG rendering of what the thing would look like, if it wasn't a turd?
Yeah.
It's pretty much an Ankylosaurus. It just doesn't have the club on the tail. That's the whole deal.
Yeah, which, in other words, a really shit Ankylosaurus.
So basically we have a really cool fossil of a really shit dinosaur is pretty much the idea. And it also kind of looks like shit, so... I
guess it could have been worse. It could have been like a Microceratops or something.
Oh, that would have been terrible. An Oviraptor? Nobody likes the Oviraptors. They're because they were just like cowardly egg eaters, like the worst. A real Velociraptor would have been bad too, because people would have been like, "Oh, that's not what Jurassic World has," and it's like, well, no.
Although if you have a phobia of birds, you might find an Oviraptor particularly frightening.
All those people, come into my house. I'll show you an Oviraptor. It'll be terrifying. It'll be like your own private haunted house. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna run from now on. That's how I'm gonna make money. You about that? You want to help me? You want to help me run this very niche haunted house?
Showing people your Oviraptor, which I'm pretty sure.
No. I mean, any buddy's Oviraptor will do.
I see.
Anyway, it's not the point. It's just
Well, that's the attitude you take with it.
you're putting words into my mouth, just like any bad journalist, which is ultimately what we are. I feel here we are, not even really reading a Washington Post article, more just kind of making fun of the idea of it. So, based on what I'm reading here, though, the idea was that what we're looking at, they had to assemble it into that, which is, usually the idea of fossils anyway. They don't come out looking perfect. And this one was an even more drastic case because it just looked like a bunch of rocks to a casual observer.
Oviraptor isn't actually a very bad double entendre for penis because it's always looking for the egg. You know what I mean?
Oh, shit, son. That is a dope metaphor. We got to get down with some fucking rappers about that level of metaphor,
Fucking paleontological rappers.
We have to... We should start the world's first paleontologically based rap group. We'll call ourselves Pleistocene Boys with a Z on the end of it.
I think Robin Williams already did that in Mrs. Doubtfire.
Really?
Yeah, there's this whole scene where like he's on this stage where like they have like these dinosaur toys because it's like this show that they do where this old guy teaches kids about dinosaurs and he's like super boring. So Robin Williams.
I remember this part, yeah, but I don't remember over raptors and penis metaphors.
Well, no, but he has dinosaur toys and they rap.
All right. Well, I'm saying we'll do a rap about penises though, and it'll be different enough that people won't remember that, and we can still make lots of money and fuck lots of girls or oviraptors. It depends. We'll see how the night goes.
So Notosaurus. Huh?
Yeah. So this whole deal, how do you feel about it?
I mean, this is pretty exciting. I wish it were something.
You sounded so like fakely excited there. You were just like, well, it's so exciting. You were just like, that was a Tommy Wiseau moment right there. You just had like a Tommy Wiseau in the room finding out that Lisa was pregnant. Like, oh my God, we are going to be so happy, Lisa. Like, that's you finding out about this fossil.
I see. Oh, well, maybe if you'd asked me a month ago, I'd be a bit more enthusiastic. But no.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but so yeah, this is pretty exciting. This is you don't often find fossils of this caliber. Isn't this the one where they were saying there may be a possibility of like they want to see if they can get some soft tissue out of it, which if they could would be the best case scenario.
I don't know. Let's find out.
But yeah, it's pretty cool. I do wish it had been something a bit more exciting. Obviously, paleontology hardly ever works that way. But you'd like them to find like a fully preserved, like I don't know, Carcharodontosaurus or something like that. But
okay, so it says here they found teeth and bone fragments. Hang on. So minerals, so it floated around in like a river. That's ultimately why it ended up the way it did. And minerals quickly infiltrated the skin and armor and cradled its back, ensuring that the dead notosaur would keep its true-to-life form as eons worth of rock piled atop it. So it would always keep that shape. Yeah.
This kind of reminds me of how every now and then they'll like drain a swamp and find like a mummy of some guy that's been there since like the 1700s. You know what I mean?
Oh my God. I mean, I know what you mean, but that's fucking wild. Wasn't that the plot of one of the Universal Mummy movies, like one of the old ones, not the Tom Cruise one?
Was it? I'm not sure. I'm not overly familiar with the Mummy movies.
Me neither.
The classic Mummy movies past the original, or Abbott and Costello.
Yeah.
I got to see all. I gotta sit down sometime and watch all the ones where it's Karis. Was that the second mummy's name?
I think so. It was Lon Chaney drunk, in bandages. That was the whole deal.
Yeah, because they killed Imhotep and then they were like, oh shit, we want to make sequels.
So the fact that you can see the full form of the dinosaur is cool. That's the point.
It's very cool. It's almost like another example, probably a better example, kind of like the dead people from Pompeii. You can go in and see like the poses they were in when they died. It's very exciting. It's cool shit.
Yeah, no, that's something that it is a bit like that, isn't it? Because people always assumed, like they talk about this in the Jurassic Park novel, that dinosaurs that were more complete in their fossilization when they had that like curved spine, that was their death recoil when they died in such a shocking way. That was some people's evidence for like, oh, they got hit by a meteor because they look at it, they died in such shock. But in Jurassic Park, Alan Grant is like, no, it's because like most things that die in the sun, it probably just like twisted while it was rotting. So I feel like that this in particular is a better sense of that though, because it retains the shape of the thing, exactly when it died. You know, we're getting like kind of an imprint of. Remember when they found that like that loincloth or that blanket or whatever that supposedly had Jesus' face in it? Do you remember that?
Yes, yeah.
This is like that, except it makes 10 times more sense.
It's like that, but far less nebulous.
Yeah, precisely.
Well, it's been a good year for fucking paleontology, though, hasn't it? Between this and the fucking bit of dinosaur tail that they found in the amber. Like, holy shit.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've got more coming up as well. It's been a good time to be a dinosaur nerd, so. But I've got some. Do you have anything that you wanted to bring? I opened with a big one. Do you have anything you wanted to bring to the table, or should I just go through all my shit?
I don't. I haven't been keeping a list, and you have, so let's just stick to the list.
Fair enough.
Although I did see something today, and I didn't save the link. Unfortunately, I did see something today from IFL Science about an American-Chinese cooperation to try and build a nuclear fission thing. That looked interesting, but I didn't get the link. Yeah, I didn't get the link.
That sounds like a fucking plot of a movie. A very apocalyptic movie.
Sounds like a plot of Spider-Man 2.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if they're going to hire Alfred Molina. They probably should. If I were going to build a nuclear fission device, I would hire Alfred Molina. Not to really do anything in the production of the device, but just to be there and just to be like, oh no, you shouldn't do that. Like, he should just look on, and you could just, based on his reactions in his face and in his diet and his, whatever he says, you can kind of gauge how the project is going. That's what I would do.
I would have him there specifically so that he could turn the machine on and give us the power of the sun in the palm of my hand speech.
I was about to say the same thing.
That would be his entire function.
I think that would be cool. I think he would like that.
Just like unfortunately we didn't clone dinosaurs quickly enough to get Richard Attenborough to christen that discovery, but that would have been phenomenal.
Yeah, it's a shame that we didn't make dinosaurs in time for Richard Attenborough to stand in front of one and go, "Welcome to Jurassic Park."
I suppose we still have time for B.D. Wong if we can get it down pat,
So we still have time for him to say it's a Velociraptor. Great. Wouldn't you have preferred if just a big just fucking Richard Attenborough stumbled out like Willy Wonka style across like a fucking red carpet? He had a big fucking gate behind him, and he fucking got up and he did like a woo, I'm all right, kids, and he stood up, and then he was just like, we have a T-Rex, and then he just opened the gate, and there was just a fucking T-Rex there. Like, we're never gonna live to see that. Doesn't that depress you?
A little bit, yeah. No T-Rex, no Cloud Monster, no Staring, no X-Men, no Mr. DNA.
I think we'll live to see a T-Rex, but Richard Attenborough didn't, and that's the point of depression that I'm bringing up here.
I don't know about T-Rex. I'm very hopeful for Mammoth. That seems to me
I think the Mammoth is a guarantee. But Dylan, I'm an optimistic man. I have nothing else in this world except to be optimistic about my hopes of seeing a T-Rex before I die. And I'm optimistic about those odds. You can't take that away from me, you son of a bitch.
I mean, whatever floats your boat there. But I'm just saying, right now the Mammoth is the one that I'm confident in. The only one we seem to be making any headway on is like, oh, we're gonna have a Mammoth.
Well, that's the only thing we're putting any money into, and that we seem to be allowed to do, or we have any resources that that are functional to do anything. You know, like we presumably have or can get the DNA. So it's just a matter of putting the money into doing it. You know, and going through the trial and error. And there are a bunch of people doing it.
We're gonna clone our own mammoth. It's gonna have blackjack and hookers.
Better than every other mammoth. All the fucking poker and fucking slot machine mammoths, even 10 times better. So aside from casino imbued mammoths, another point of scientific interest I thought we might discuss is whales. We talk about whales quite a bit, but this is not about killer whales. This is about narwhals. Dylan, what do you know about the narwhal?
The narwhal is a majestic creature. The unicorn.
You've
of
never
the
just said that about anything. Like not even yourself. Like I've never heard you just like be that like reverential to something. What has the narwhal ever done for you?
Nothing. It's just a meme. But
isn't that enough?
no, it's the whale with the big fucking horn sticking out of its nose.
That's more you. That's more your style. Thank you. He's back.
It's kind of fucking ugly, if I'm going to be honest.
They're pretty terrifying. Yeah, like a lot of whales are. Have you ever been up close and personal with anything like that?
A whale? No.
Not like an orca or a dolphin or anything?
No. Some small whales, like the small white ones.
Belugas?
Yeah, belugas. Yeah, they have some of those at the aquarium.
Okay, so that's a whale. So you've seen a whale.
I've seen a whale, yeah, but I've never been around like a fucking like blue whale or something.
What part of what I just asked you in any way specified like that the size of the whale mattered? I asked you if you'd seen a whale.
It didn't, but I forgot about the beluga because, I mean, let's face it, it's basically a white misshapen dolphin at that point.
Well, all toothed whales are sort of just like misshapen and big dolphins, because at a certain point you just get too big to be considered a dolphin, and two, just its size and the way the body is shaped and functioned is more whale-like. You know, like a sperm whale, that's not a dolphin, you know?
Wasn't the wall kind of like the colossal squid in a way, and that for a long time people didn't think it actually existed, and somebody was like, I found one. It's right there. It's right here.
Well, the article just said... Hang on. It's like not showing anything. So the article says that they've been elusive and hard to study because they spend so much time in the Arctic and shit, and they're always fucking migrating. They were known as the unicorn of the sea. So yeah, they were a long time, you know, relegated to mythology. But here, I'm going to share this video with you. Apparently it's all in the video.
And what is the function of the giant Harry Potter wand growing out of their forehead?
We are about to find out. That's what the purpose of the video is, apparently. Spectacular footage of narwhals reveals the true purpose of their tusks. Don't let me down, IFL Science. This is big. Oh, fuck, there's an ad.
They're the dildos of the sea.
I couldn't load the video at first. I had to wait and then reload the page. So I watched it finally. Pretty much the whole point of it is it's video of narwhal using their horns to eat fish. Woo!
Essentially, it's exactly what you might assume it's for. It's spearfishing. Basically.
Big mystery solved. It's like when we found out who Luke Skywalker's father was. It explains everything, you know?
I was hoping it'd have some sort of a navigational purpose or something. Nope, it's just...
I was hoping it was to attract chicks.
Turns out it's just a giant shish kebab.
Although it is interesting that it's not like a horn in the sense of like it's like a separate appendage. It's a big tooth that grows through the upper lip.
Yeah, it's essentially a giant tusk.
Sure. If that's how you want to describe it.
It is.
Sure, I guess. I'm just going to fill you with self-doubt. Like, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Do you really know? Have you ever seen one?
Yes.
Great.
Just in a video.
Great, I feel like an idiot now. Let's see what else we have here. I'm not seeing anything yet that's jumping to me. Blah blah blah. Oh, that looks fun. What's the truth behind this 13-pound monster frog photo? You shared this.
I did. I didn't read it though. I was just like, oh, look at this.
All right, well, we're gonna look at it right now. I want to make sure this is the full article first. It is. Look at that, nice and short. So, blah, blah, blah. So, if you've been on social media, basically, this is by, who wrote this? Tom Hale. This was written a while ago. And, as all of these probably were. There were a bunch of pictures online that showed a monster-sized 13-pound bullfrog being held up by a hunter in Batesville, Texas. The writer says they say that everything's bigger in Texas, but does that hold true with regards to its native bullfrogs too? This guy's not getting off to a great start in my eyes.
No, that was a pretty bad opening line.
Yeah.
That was like the Webster's defines blank as of like online diction.
It feels like somebody who's writing like the stories behind math problems, you know, like when you take a test and it's like a paragraph of like Janet and Billy are boyfriend and girlfriend, but Billy broke up with Janet because Janet sucked Tim's cock, and now like it's like a whole thing.
Now, see, it sounds like something a newscaster would say just before presenting the story, which is not a good thing. You know, can't you imagine that? Like, oh, they say everything.
I don't watch the news for that very reason.
They say everything's bigger in Texas, but does that apply to the frogs? Going to you, Tom.
Well, Tom Hale, as you said. Let's see what he says.
Right? Holy fuck.
So Steve Lightfoot, a spokesman for the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department, told the Houston local news site Cron, whatever the hell that means, that it's the real deal and not a photoshopped image. However, he said that the photograph may be a tad misleading. It's not as big as it appears, Lightfoot said. Can we just talk about his name being Lightfoot for a second? I mean, Gordon much? Gordon Lightfoot? Is he Canadian or is he Texan? Which one? Pick one.
How often do you think he has to use that sentence? Not as big as it appears.
Not as often as you would think, but less than he would like. So Gordon Lightfoot, I mean... he says it's an optical illusion created by extending the frog towards the camera. So they're standing back and he's shoving the thing forward to make it look bigger. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Great. I'm glad we're all on the same page, huh?
I like the idea that this guy has like the opposite problem to most dudes, where like his penis looks bigger than it actually is.
We're not talking about his penis. We're talking about a frog.
I don't know.
Are you saying that the frog is a metaphor for his penis, or it is actually literally his penis?
Well, no, the frog can't be a metaphor for his penis. I mean, it's not an oviraptor.
So it's literally his penis.
Let's not get carried away here. Frogs are not oviraptors. No, I was referring to what I said earlier. Like, how often do you think he has to use the phrase? It's not as big as it appears.
Oh, again, it's like I said, not as often as you would think, but less often than he would like.
Anyway,
so he says it's like a big fish story. It's like it's impressive considering other frogs, but it's not as impressive as the picture would let on. It's not actually like 13 pounds as it would appear.
I see.
Like it looks like almost as big as him in the picture, but I can see what he means by it being, exaggerated. Yeah, because he's standing back. I see. Yeah.
It's like when you again another fucking penis example, but this time it actually works. It's like when you
You're on a roll tonight. Is there anything you want to tell me?
No, this time it actually.
You're like, oh no, Pepe, you must not.
This time it actually is analogous. It's like when you take a dick pic, but you kind of hold your hand a little bit further back. It's like a forced perspective, you know what I mean?
Oh, balls, I dropped my mouse. Anyway, you were speaking about penises, and I was... I see what you're saying, and I understand what the deal is here. Um, blah blah blah. So David Steen, he works for some other assholes. He agrees. Blah, blah, blah. The largest frog on Earth is the Goliath frog, a 13 centimeter long. That's 12.6 inches long. That's a size I'm more personally familiar with. Frog found in a relatively small area around Cameroon and Equatorial Guinea, whatever the hell that means. That can weigh up to 3.25 kilograms, 7.17 pounds. So that's still not 13 pounds. So the idea is that whatever the picture shows, this frog is not that big. American bullfrogs, on the other hand, typically grow as big as 15 centimeters. That's 6 inches in length and 0.6 kilograms, 1.5 pounds in weight. That's still pretty big.
Yeah, for a fucking frog, like Jesus.
Like that's a lot. That's getting to be a lot. So Dylan, point being, are you afraid of Are you afraid of these frogs?
No.
What if they got access to magic wands?
Apparently they're not as big as the picture leads them on to be. They do not have access to magic wands.
How the fuck do you know that? I want a full confiscation of every bullfrog in Texas's house to make sure that they don't have access to magic wands. Is that maybe a little racist of species is the better term of me?
Well, working off the basic assumption, and I think it's a fair one, that magic wands do not exist. I think we're safe.
You think we're safe? Pfft. You think we're safe? Pfft. What are you doing, D? What are you doing? I think we should move on.
Talking about science and making penis jokes. What else, huh?
Good point. Yeah. What else? This is the best. I love that we get to do this. This is the dream. The fact that we get to do this. This is why America is the best country on the planet. The fact that we get to do this. The fact that nobody bursts in through the doors of both of our houses and stops us from producing this insanity and putting it up on the internet for people to listen to. That's a beautiful world to live in. Don't you agree?
We're winning bigly.
Even better now that you've referenced his vernacular. Dylan, a leading space on...
And we've done it despite the negative press, go Fefe.
Leading space entrepreneur thinks aliens are visiting Earth. What do you think? Robert Bigelow. Ooh, boy.
Oh.
We just can't get away from penises tonight, can we? His name is Bigelow now? Like, it's too close to Gigolo. I can't function with that name. He is an important figure in the rapidly growing private space industry, which is something that fascinates me because it's probably the future of space travel. Has come out with some rather controversial views about alien life. In an interview with CBS News, I know CBS. You know CBS, presumably.
Well, yes, they produced Star Trek.
Wow. All right. Well, they're apparently producing more bullshit than that. Mr. Bigelow, 72, said he believed that aliens had come to Earth and were continuing to do so. I'm absolutely convinced. I don't know if that's how he talked. That's how I imagine he talks. I'm absolutely convinced in aliens. That's all there is to it. So that's it. He says there's an existing ET presence on Earth, and he doesn't give a damn about revealing his views to the public. It's intelligent life. I'm not going to do the voice anymore. It's intelligent life just like right under people's noses, he said. Oh my gosh. Wow, this guy's not making any sense. No wonder he's fucking 72.
Did he provide any reasons for this, or is he just...
It seems like it's just a rant.
Was he wearing a tinfoil hat at the time?
Hang on, sorry for the silence, I'm reading. Blah, blah, blah.
I thought you were seriously investigating whether or not he was wearing a tinfoil hat.
Yeah, I was trying to figure that specific fact out because if we don't know that, I don't know if we can continue. So let me work that out, and maybe we can make something of ourselves. But he's a big money bags if that is any consolidation. it seems like his company is making some really big strides in like inflatable space travel, or like really cheap disposable ways of getting around space. So the whole point of the article is like, his views are kind of without any base whatsoever, but his company is doing a lot of cool shit. So hopefully they can keep doing that.
At this point, we should probably just be happy he's not a flat earther.
I mean, there's no evidence to say that he's not. So
Can you imagine somebody working on space travel thinking the Earth was flat?
what if they could somehow like make it that way? Like they're like, even if it's not, I'm gonna make it that way. Well, I'm not saying they could go about it somehow, but if they could, I'm just saying it'd be fucked up anyway. So Dylan, we're gonna learn about on Inquisitor.com. A penis transplant in South Africa gives patient the right organ with the wrong color. Man, we just cannot escape this tonight, can we?
Wait, it's funny because I'm not even doing it anymore. At this point, it's just like fate.
Oh boy. Okay, here we go. A penis.
I guess, I guess in a way I did do it because I shared this.
So this is technically all your fault. So what do you fucking? Let's not stand on brass taxes. A penis transplant has become a lifesaver for a cancer survivor in 2016 and is already being added to the options given to men with similar cases. However, this doesn't necessarily mean that the surgery has already been perfected. According to the New York Times, the patient who was the first in the U.S. to undergo the procedure has to endure a 15-hour transplant operation in May 2016 to be able to function in the same way before he lost his penis. I just love how clinical this is. It's like before he lost his penis, his life was normal. Now he leads a penisless life. His name is Thomas Manning. He said, I'm sorry, it's so sad, but he's like, I want to go back to who I was.
You scoff now, Bill, but these doctors are doing the Lord's work. One day, they will be memorialized in film, played, of course, by Tom Hanks, who must play everybody who is
What
inspiration.
if he's not? What if he's dead? Are they going to transplant his penis onto somebody else and they'll become him?
We could do that, or we could Tarkin it.
Tarkin it. Oh my God, you're a madman.
Because by that point in the future, the technology should be perfected, and we won't even need to pay actors anymore. They'll just all be digital.
This is at a Massachusetts General Hospital in Boston. Blah, blah, blah. It's all a bunch of bullshit so far. Hang on. So basically, he didn't have a penis for like 17 years, and then they transplanted a penis from a 40. Wait, what the fuck? So a 40-year-old patient from South Africa went into the procedure that lasted 10 hours. From a medical team at Tygerberg Hospital, headed by Professor Andre van der Merwe, the head of Stellenbosch University's urology department. Unfortunately, this happened to the South African dude. I guess the penis in question came from Massachusetts, is the idea.
Yeah, the problem is there aren't a whole lot of donors lining up. Go figure.
What happened to the dude in Massachusetts? I don't think I saw that.
I'm not sure. Maybe he died and just donated his penis to science. They need to perfect that technology where they just grow body parts on the back of mice, and then we won't have to worry about donors. We can just grow our penises.
Oh my God, that's such a great line. We don't have to worry about donors. We could just grow our penises. You sound like a supervillain, like a penis obsessed, like fucking genetic powered supervillain. I will grow penises until my penis army controls the world.
Because the best part about it is, if you can grow your own penis, then you get to fuck with the genetics, and you basically get a designer penis. So at some point in the future, nobody's keeping their original penis.
I just imagine you in a business suit, like on a fucking podium somewhere, like in a press conference, just going, "God damn it, we can't rely on other countries giving us our penises. We have to grow our own penises."
Yeah, I mean,
Good. I'm glad we're all in agreement.
we're trying to import, all these penises from the Middle East, and you know, let's
We've
source
got
this
all
shit
these.
locally.
We've got all these fucking Iranian penises. Oh boy. Can you just imagine just like news reports, just like Iranian people have been missing their penises for years now and nobody's talked about it, and there's a bunch of US soldiers walking around with very Iranian looking penises.
You realize that in this future that I'm describing, women who actually like small penises are just fucked because nobody's gonna keep one.
So apparently the color discrepancy in this dude's penis is going to be fixed with medical tattooing.
Yeah.
So
Just
apparently
color.
they still consider it a success, including the patient, but many people are calling it botched because they fucked up the color of the penis. If you were white and they gave you a black cock, you wouldn't care. I mean, you are white. I said if.
No, it's because it's because things are reversed that he got fucked. I mean, this dude really got the shaft, but I guess not having a penis as long as he has, he doesn't care.
17 years without a penis makes a white penis seem like the way to go. I guess I would feel the same given the circumstances. I mean, I've had a white penis for longer than 17 years, so can't say I'm too disappointed.
I feel like being a white guy with a black penis that would get you far, just because that's
Yeah,
what
I mean that's definitely a better situation to be in without question. In theory, I mean there's definitely black people with small penises. I mean there's no way that there isn't. So it just depends on the black penis you're getting, you know?
These are the things that we tell ourselves.
If you were gonna grow yourself a new penis, would it be a black penis or would it be what color would it be?
No. I mean, if you're growing one from scratch, then you might as well just make it match.
Well, what if you have to like directly clone the tissue and it has to be whatever race you use? So
then you might as well just go back to using donors.
that's true, I guess. All right. Well, Dylan, I wish you luck in your experiments. That's my only point. So why don't we move on to maybe penises won't be involved this time, Dylan. Maybe we can get away with one that's not penis related. Are you hopeful about that?
I'm willing to try.
The Washington Post again is coming at us with some paleontological shit. Tyrannosaurus Rex had scaly skin and wasn't covered in feathers, a new study says. Hold the presses and stop them. So Jurassic Park is true after all.
So what about his penis now?
Oh boy, you are a funny child.
Well, apparently, this is something that got a lot of mileage last week, isn't it? This whole Tyrannosaurus Rex thing. And I did no reading on the subject. So, what is the reason that they now believe that they were wrong before about the feathers?
Oh, I was hoping you would give me a second to figure it out. The dino image changed again in the past few decades as evidence for feathered species accumulated. Two tyrannosauroids, Dilong and Eutyrannus, relatives that predated T-Rex by some 50 million years, were covered in feathers. As for T-Rex, artists drew ferocious and fluffy concept art. One museum gave its animatronic T-Rex plumage. What the hell does that mean?
I know Eutyrannus well. I played Jurassic Park Builder.
But this was putting the quill before the fossil. With all the hype about feathered theropods, it's easy to forget that actually most dinosaurs had scaly reptilian-like skin. Bell said theropod dinosaurs included Tyrannosaurus and many other two-legged dinosaurs, as well as bird ancestors. Bell and his colleagues examined skin from T-Rex and four relatives from fairly late in Tyrannosaur history: Albertosaurus, Daspletosaurus, and Gorgosaurus. Oh shit! And Tarbosaurus. Tyrannosaurus skin is rare, Bell said, in part because paleontologists historically favored smashing through skin to get to bones. What, fucking idiots. From these skin patches representing the Tyrannosaur abdomen, chest, pelvis, neck, and tail, The researchers found nothing but scales. If feathers existed, they did so only along the animal's back or spines. Ooh, Godzilla style, except, not cool, just feathers. This doesn't rule out feathers on even the biggest tyrannosaurs, said University of London paleontologist David Hone, who was not involved in the research, so who gives a fuck what he thinks? No. But does suggest they lacked a full coat of feathers. So by and large, they probably looked closer to what we imagine, but maybe with a few flourishes that we didn't. So that seems to be the idea here. But some T-Rex ancestors and descendants did have feathers, whereas the traditional Tyrannosaurus Rex that we're familiar with and their relatives that we're more familiar with, that lived around the same time as they did not have feathers, or at least not as many, like a full coat, as some of their ancestors and descendants, like I said. So, what do you think, D?
All right, it works for me. I just wish they could make up their damn minds,
This is what I always thought. Like, this is what I always assumed, that some members of the family probably did and some of them didn't. Like, we know that not all dinosaurs had feathers, and we know that all theropods didn't have feathers, or they didn't all have the same extent of feathers,
Yeah, well, if you think of where the theropod dinosaur lies on the evolutionary ladder between reptile to bird, it makes sense. I know that evolution doesn't always work in ways that are so aesthetically sensical, you know what I mean? But in this case, yeah, in this sense, in this particular instance, the theropod dinosaur seems to be sort of a perfect in between those two things. And I mean, lizard to bird is probably one of the biggest evolutionary things to ever happen on this planet that I can think of. I mean, holy shit, what a transition.
It's pretty wild, son. Just the reptile family itself is the most varied and insane and just insanely long-standing, genuses of animal on the planet. It's crazy. But the Tyrannosaurus Rex is certainly no question. So Dylan, what do you prefer? Do you prefer a scaly T-Rex or do you prefer a feathery T-Rex?
I mean, if we're talking pure aesthetics, I mean, you can't beat the classic T-Rex, can you? I mean, that's...
Like with a whip? Presumably not, but...
It's Jurassic Park, man.
Yeah, I would want Jurassic Park to be how they look. And sound. If they don't sound like that, what's the fucking point?
Fuck Jurassic Park, it's the land unknown, man.
Yeah, I wish that's how they looked. Dylan, we're moving from true paleontological science to a Godzilla reference gone mad. Because the Asgardia Space Nation team will reveal their plans to the world next week. So Akira Takarada and all those other aliens in disguise are going to talk about how they're going to name a dumb coalition, the Space Nations, and replace the UN. Are you excited, D? You ready?
Yeah.
So the idea is, the project is to launch multiple satellites that will be run by a team of scientists, philosophers, entrepreneurs, and lawyers that will serve as the world's first independent space nation. So they're all going to live up there in space as their own independent group of people. But the satellites can't be populated by humans, so it's unclear how they can represent a nation. However, if enough investors pitch in, the team behind the initiative will welcome at least 180,000 people to become members of the nation. But you'll be stuck here on Earth. If you're interested in joining, you can apply here, and there's a little link. Do you want me to share you the link?
No.
Announced in October 2016, we are none the wiser as to if the project is anything more than a philosophical thought experiment. However, a press release sent to journalists dramatically reveals the details of the very first satellite component of Asgardia will launch soon, and that a live-streamed conference, blah, blah, blah. So they're going to announce that and show the thing being launched. A point of noting is that Dr. Eshbelly, great name, is described in the press release as the head of a nation, a ludicrously bland name for someone in charge of something called Asgardia. We think he should be called Odin. Which could stand for Overall Director of Independent Nation, perhaps. Everyone loves a backronym.
Everyone, they say.
Yeah, I don't think that's accurate. Asgardia will open. This is a quote from him. Asgardia will open up access to space for commerce, science, and for people from all around the world. The press release concludes. This all sounds very ambitious. So does the first satellite live up to the epic nature of the mission? Live up to the epic nature of the mission. Blah blah blah. There's a bunch of technical bullshit that I don't understand. So pretty much it's got a lot of data, and part of the point of the experiment is to see how much data will last in space, like how long it'll last if you put a whole bunch of data up there, and if you store it up there. So it seems to be more of a metaphorical kind of like people storing a whole bunch of information and ideas and security up there. What do you think? It seems like a weird new age bullshit crap to me.
Well, I think it's nice that, at least in a symbolic way, this shows that we are, or at least some of us are, thinking about, ultimately transitioning into becoming an intergalactic species, spacefaring and all that. It shows, at least mentally, a step in that direction. I would be far more excited, though, if they were like, hey, we got a manned space station. It's going to be, you know what I mean? Like, instead of...
That's what I was hoping for. That's like, I want like BioShock in space. Like, I want Rapture, but on the moon. That's what I would hope that we'd be building towards,
Exactly.
Would you, if they did that and they opened it to the public, would you want to make that what your life is about? Would you join the Space Nation? The Space Nation! Would you join Akira Takarada?
Yes, I could converse with him in the wrong language every day. No, I mean, maybe. I don't know. I never really gave it a whole lot of thought.
You should give it more thought, Dylan. Akira Takarada is going to show up at your house tomorrow and be like, Dylan, I've learned Spanish since we last met, so now we can communicate.
I mean, like, I know very little Spanish, Mr. Takarada.
Oh shit, I know less English, fuck. And now I speak fluent Spanish.
I must go and learn English. Ole! And then he...
But Mr. Takarada, what about the senoritas? Vámonos!
This went in a weird direction. No.
He's a happily married man. I think. Dylan, a large number of humpback whales have returned to New York City for the first time in a century. They're fucking out. They're fucking going down Times Square. They are shopping. They are buying stuff. They are fucking just making a scene out of themselves all over Twitter, all over Snapchat. It's insane. Are you paying attention to it?
No, I had no idea that this was a thing until you just told me about it.
Well, I wasn't really familiar with it either. No. So
Didn't
basically,
you see any? You're in that general area geographically. Didn't you see any humpback whales at your local supermarket?
Not at my local supermarket, but I know the areas that they've been seen. So blah 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 blah. Let's try to figure out exactly where that is, though. So the idea is, though, that the water hasn't really been clean since the early 70s in this particular area. So there hasn't been food for stuff like whales to come through and have a motivation to be there. But recently there's been an upkick in plankton that have been feeding there, and the whales are coming through because of that. But I'm just trying to figure out the area.
What you're saying is getting rid of your trash via boat hasn't been great for the...
Yeah, pretty much. A whale was seen near the Statue of Liberty, huh? That's iconic and very convenient for like imagery wise. One of the pictures is a humpback like leaping right in the Empire State Building is way in the background, but you can see it, and it's just like breaching. But the area where it is like parts of New York City I've seen. It's like the outskirts though. So It's crazy when stuff like you see big stuff like this in an iconic scenery that you don't think of Wales when you think of New York City,
No,
especially in Times Square, like I said before.
when I
So
think of New York City, I just think of Kevin McAllister.
weird because that was the second one.
Oh, okay.
Do you just love Home Alone too? Like, are you a sick man, Dylan?
Home Alone 2.
Do you need help?
Home Alone 2 is a good movie. What the fuck are you talking about? No,
It's a movie that exists. I don't know if it's a good movie.
it's God, that series goes downhill when you get to Home Alone 3.
I haven't seen that one. I only know that 2 is exactly the same as 1. No, they're both
You haven't seen
they're both fine. I'm being
You haven't
facetious.
seen Home Alone 3?
So Dylan, this is
You've
another. What happened?
You've missed nothing by not seeing Home Alone 3. It's
Thanks, I appreciate that. But apparently we missed something by not living in Borneo recently because they have just seen a rare animal there that hasn't been seen in a long time. You shared this article as well.
Did I? Well, aren't I sciencey?
This animal is called the
Lately.
bay cat. It's been captured on like a tracking cam, and they're like crazy endangered. There was a thought process that they were extinct, and they've been spotted 40 miles outside of what is being considered their like sort of natural range. It's sort of like a skinny looking tiger that fucked a monkey. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, it is almost simian looking. Just the proportions of its body, very interesting.
Yeah.
It has a very cool, like, sort of locomotion to it as well. It moves.
Yeah, I'm watching the video right now.
It's so much more graceful even than the usual jungle cat that you might see, which is saying a lot. It just sort of
It's built
slinks through the camera.
It's built like a Great Dane. A little bit. But it's I love stuff like this. I love proving that we don't know everything about the jungle. That there's stuff out there that we know a little bit about, but we don't know a lot about because it's so elusive. We don't know everything about the world. There's so much stuff hidden out there in the darkness that is yet to be uncovered. I love stuff that proves that, and this isn't necessarily that, but it certainly adds a dimension to that thought process.
Yeah. Well, it's the combination of the density of the jungle there, but also the fact that apparently this particular species keeps its population pretty low.
Intentionally?
Not all species adopt this whole breed in large numbers to increase the chances of survival strategy. There are other strategies, such as elusiveness, which seems to be this creature's deal. So that's all very, very interesting, of course.
They're also nocturnal. That's another thing that makes them so rare. Blah blah blah. They're also trying to keep the location confidential because they don't want people to try and snag it for value on the black market, which is a concern in parts of the world like this, which is crazy. There was a movie called Hunter with Willem Dafoe, where he played like a black market hunter who was sent after the Tasmanian tiger. In a similar situation. So again, stuff like this definitely captures my imagination. It's fucking wild. But Dylan, why don't we do 2 more? All right.
All right.
So first things first one of the last 2. Infected zombie Infected zombie beetles encourage males to have sex with their corpses. So we're back to penises, or we're back to weird death-based homoeroticism.
Insect necrophilia. This is what dreams are made of.
So female goldenrod soldier beetles, when infected with the fungus Ernipopus lampiriterarum, Do everything possible to encourage males to have sex with their dead bodies. Oh, I see. So if the female dies, they release a pheromone that makes the male want to have sex with their corpse. So it's not homoerotic at all. It's not like the female like produces the pheromone and then the male like finds the nearest male corpse and fucks it, which is what I thought.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where the homoeroticism came from. That was your.
That's what the title is. Here, listen to the title again. Infected zombie beetles encourage males to have sex with their corpses.
Right.
It seemed like it was like of the male's own ranks. I don't know.
No, it didn't imply that at all.
Well, that you're, you know what, man? I thought you had my back. Usually found feeding on the tops of flowers and meadows and fields across North America, the researchers analyzed over 400 live and dead goldenrod soldier beetles. Have you ever heard of these things?
No.
And found that 20% of the 20% of the insects were infected with the fungus. There is this weird trend in bizarre science articles like this that you and I like to discuss of like funguses and mushrooms and weird parasites taking over like animals' minds and shit. There's that fucking bee that infects its fucking victims and plants its fucking babies inside of them and they hatch out of it alien style.
What was the name of this beetle?
The goldenrod soldier beetle.
Goldenrod soldier beetle.
Yeah.
I'm not huge on entomology, so let's have a look.
So apparently they die in a fuck pose, like the females die in a fuck pose, so that way the males have easy access. That's part of the mechanism that they use. That's crazy.
They're actually neat looking insects. So now that I'm imagining all the necrophilia going on, it's
so despite like there's necrophilia about, so that's certainly not something to shake a stick at.
Metaphorically speaking, of course.
The pose doesn't produce itself until after the thing's been dead for 15 to 22 hours, huh? So it's all the fungus that's bringing on the necrophilia. It's crazy. This is definitely a great idea for like a superhero plot.
I guess.
Necrophilia based viruses is the way to go, son.
It's the future of zombie movies. They can add a sexual element to zombie movies, and it'll be kind of like the old vampire movies, where like your girlfriend would become a vampire, and like the two of you hadn't had sex because obviously this is Victorian England, and then she'd come back from the dead as a vampire, and suddenly she'd all be all like fucking.
She's trying to fuck you,
like,
yeah.
Whoa. And you're of course weird, like, man, calm down, like that whole chestnut.
Madam, you've lost your head. We ought to be married. It's like, dude, what are you gay? No.
It's like when Tiger Woods got caught doing all that shit, and all the dudes in America had to be like, what?
Yeah, it's like, oh, wow. What a surprise, a man cheating on his wife. Somebody stop the presses.
Good heavens, I can't imagine.
Dylan, we should stop the presses for something else, though. The first conjoined twin harbor porpoises have been found in the North Sea.
I saw something about this. Two-headed dolphin, right?
Well, porpoise, but sure. Scientists have recorded the first ever case of conjoined harbor porpoises discovered in the North Sea off the coast of the Netherlands. The specimen was caught by fishermen by accident, who took photos of the incredibly rare occurrence before throwing it back into the sea. What was it, dead? The specimen is important not only as it is the first conjoined harbor porpoise ever discovered, but it represents only the 10th conjoined cetacean ever found globally. That's whales, dolphins, all that shit.
So important. Why did they throw it back? Why didn't they bring it in for study?
Well, I want to find out. While it's likely that more cases do occur in the wild, it is highly improbable that they are ever found due simply to the vastness of the ocean in which they are swimming. Unfortunately for science, after taking the images, the fishermen threw the twins back overboard, as they thought it would be illegal for them to land the catch. Oh, I see. They thought they were going to get in trouble. Although they took pictures, so I don't really understand what they were so afraid of.
This is the problem. We've taken all this conservation shit too far now. People are too afraid to bring in a scientific discovery because they might go to jail.
He probably wouldn't have, though, because the thing looks like it was already dead. But researchers are grateful for the photos, and they can still give some insight into the rare event. While the twins were clearly fully developed, being neonates rather than fetuses, the fact that the tail fluke and dorsal fin were floppy suggests that they died soon after. Oh, no, so it was dead. Although you're not... Well, but you're not supposed to fuck with a dead whale or anything anyway, so... Yeah, they definitely could have gotten in trouble.
Wait, why can't you fuck with a dead whale? Now this is a whole other...
There was a Shark Week documentary I watched when I was a kid where there was a dead whale that was floating out in South Africa, and there was a bunch of sharks feeding on it. They put a cameraman on the whale, and they almost got in trouble for it because they thought it was exploiting a whale. Because it's when whaling ended, there was just this huge stigma attached to exploiting marine mammals. So ethically, people were like, you can't sit on a dead whale and take video of the sharks eating it because that's unethical.
That's fucking stupid. It's already dead.
Yeah, well, you get on a dead whale and film then. I'll join you more happily.
Even a vegan at that point should be like, natural causes. Like,
well, I mean, it's like, how far are you going to protect a dead whale? You know, like how much resources are you going to put into that, right?
Right. Yeah. By all means, let's not learn anything from the dead whale. We have to protect it so that it can fucking decompose anyway.
Yeah. Well, it was going to be eaten by a shark anyway, so I don't know what they were protecting it from the person who was just sitting on it as opposed to the sharks who were eating it.
We must protect this whale for the shark.
I guess that's the idea. Let nature take its proper course. Listen, I understand it from both sides. Here's my point. I don't give a fuck. I just want to fucking know why this whale has got 2 fucking heads. That's it. That's all I want to know.
Right, and can we breed them?
And this doctor, basically his point is, we don't fucking know. So no, Dylan, I don't think we can breed them.
Would a 2-headed whale be more delicious? No, that is the question.
Well, I mean, it's got more meat, so presumably so, right?
Aha!
I mean, the more meat, the better. I think any girl would agree with that.
So perhaps not... penis jokes again. So perhaps
well, it's the end of the episode. I thought I should bring it back full circle.
So perhaps not more delicious, but certainly more bountiful. More filling, as it were.
Again, exactly as any girl would like. So... Dylan, we've done it again. We've explored so many important advancements in the field of science. It's truly...
Bill, we forgot to talk about one very important story.
Oh, no.
So I'll just summarize for the audience. So there was a guy in North Carolina, and he got caught fucking a pig. But the funny
oh my
part
god! I can't believe that wasn't in my saved links. I thought I did save that.
So the funny part, and if you can find this article, this is just like one of the ugliest humans to ever slink around the face of the earth. So I guess I get it. But the funny part was they had to take him and the pig to the hospital.
Was the pig dead?
Stuck. No, but they were stuck. They had to get separated.
Oh my god! Can you imagine? Can you imagine being the doctor doing that? Like is this paycheck worth it?
For the record,
well, yeah, he's a doctor, so it would be worth it.
For the record, pig fucking not particularly funny. Getting stuck in the act of
well, yeah, it's not that he tortured an animal. That's not what's funny. It's that he got hilarious comeuppance for torturing an animal. So see, this is where Dylan and I are trying to protect this pig from getting fucked, and people are like, "Oh, don't take pictures of the dead whale. Protect the pig from getting fucked, you animals." What are you doing?
Yeah, and let's all just have a laugh.
We can laugh at the guy getting stuck. You know, like that's what our lives really should be about.
We're laughing with the pig, you know.
I don't think the pig is laughing. I think the pig is sedated, and they're trying to. They're considering putting it through therapy. I almost said therapy.
It looks like a pretty big pig, so I don't know how much trauma it's going through, but You know,
What does the size of the pig matter? Does the size of the pig decrease the size of the trauma? Is that your point? Does this apply to people too?
Well, no, but for obvious reasons of like proportionality, having sex with a large pig would do less damage to the animal than if you had a fucking baby pig. You know what I mean?
Well, sure, but it's still not like the parts are not supposed to do that. So, like, it's still going to cause damage. Like, that thing is still definitely, like, it can never be fucked by a normal pig again, probably.
You got to take the size of the orifice into account, is what I'm stating here.
Sure, but I'm just saying that pig will never fuck a normal pig again. Was it a male pig or a female pig?
I'm not entirely sure. All I know is that boy never gonna be right again.
Yeah. It's interesting that in the instance of that Meet the Clumps example you just brought up, the roles of the gerbil and man were reversed.
It's true.
It's a fucking nutty world we live in, isn't it?
So yeah,
we've learned a lot.
Don't fuck pigs.
We've learned a lot tonight, D. We've learned a lot tonight, and I think that we'll have to go out on that high note. So next week, Daimajin. Oh, what's it called? Daimajin Strikes Again, right? That's the title? That's the title of Daimajin 2, Electric Boogaloo?
I'm going to go out of my way and say, no, I think it's Return of Daimajin.
God damn it! I think the third one is called Daimajin Strikes Again, or The Wrath of Daimajin.
Yeah, I think that's accurate.
Fuck. I hate myself. So, we're going to do that next time. After that, who fucking knows? We'll do something else.
After the story about the man who was fucking a pig, Bill hates himself for fucking up the name of a movie. That's.
I hate humanity. I hate myself. I hate literally everything. But in addition to all of that, we are also going to be doing our series in which we do commentaries on all the Planet of the Apes movies very soon. Talking Apes. It's coming in a few weeks now. Get excited. Dylan and I are almost done recording it, so get ready to hop on that train.
We have finished recording all of the classic Apes movies, so now we move on to the Tim Burton films.
Remember when I said I hate myself and all of humanity before?
Yeah.
I'm gonna hate all of ape-anity by the end of that movie.
Ape-anity. That was just awful.
You know what, Dylan? It's the end of the episode, and I'm tired. I can do whatever the fuck I want. So, with that being said, we hope you'll stick with us for all of that and many more things. I should say the date for that, though, probably. That'll help. It's about a month away, actually, now that I'm looking at my calendar here. So the series proper is going to start likely on, I'll say July 7th, conservatively. July 6th or July 7th. Because that'll be roughly a week before the movie comes out. That's how it breaks down. Roughly a week before the movie comes out. We want to give people time to listen to all the commentaries before the actual thing gets released. So it'll go up the day before the film actually gets released to the public. So again, look out for more as we continue to talk about bullshit. So until next time, I'm Bill Worster, aka Zazubaar.
I'm SuperDM64.
And you can't see us because it's a podcast, but trust me, you wouldn't really want to anyway. Because we're not fucking a pig, so what the hell's the point? Like, that's all that would really be worthwhile to see. Good night, kids. Night!
You think